Hello, you're welcome to Couch Conversations. I'm Ocholi Okutepa, and this is my beloved husband, Ocholi Okutepa.
They won't know why I'm laughing. They'll think we plan to be laughing. Let's just continue. All right, welcome. We're excited to have you join us again. Have you been watching the other episodes though? Because if you have not, you are missing. You see, my people have an adage. I'm Igala by tribe from Nigeria, Kogi State to be precise. All right, it's like a person standing at shore and sand is getting in their eyes. You know, there's a lot of sand ashore, but sand should not be getting to your eyes when the water body is right in front of you and you can wash it. You see, many of the questions that people have in their hearts, they don't know who to ask, where to ask, are covered by Couch Conversations. So many videos. All right, so we encourage you before we get into this video, look at this playlist in particular, look at our channel in general, and don't be selfish. Invite your friends, family, share with them, and let them be a part of the community that we're building and sharing God's life to the glory of God. All right? So we have a very important, serious conversation to have, in this episode, and not just this episode. By the grace of God, from this episode and for 3 episodes following, we're going to be running a series, and it's on the all-important subject of narcissism. Like, we've been getting questions, we've been getting concerns, people have reached out in different forms.
We have had to counsel a lot of people on this matter.
Exactly.
And it's expedient that we talk about it. That's why we're breaking it into
4 actually.
4 parts.
Okay, so this is going to be the first part. If you watch this, make sure you look for the other videos. All right, so now across all 4 episodes, what we're going to do and just run through as a series is to identify 7 key tips, all right, that you are dating a narcissist. You see, we want to start from the people who are not married. Okay, it's a different ballgame when you're dealing with a person who is already inside. All right, so in this first episode, we're going to deal with our introduction to the subject and 1 key tip. Then in 3 other episodes following, we'll deal with 2 tips each. If you put these 7 together and you see most of this, not necessarily all, then chances are that you are with a narcissist. All right, and we want to make sure that we coach you to understand what to look out for and to be careful. Because you see, when you come for counseling as a married person, it's a different ball game entirely. All right, so but we're going to make some important notes. We'll read some out from our notes just to make sure we are as clear as possible. All right, so first thing I'm going to say is important to note that narcissism is now commonly referenced in almost every situation, but the fact that something looks like narcissism does not mean it is narcissism. That's the first thing we must know. All right, and now I want to be careful not to try to over-define it. The traits we are going to give will reveal what narcissism is. So don't wait for definition at this point. So there are 2 key concepts we want to identify first, just to say that it's not in all circumstances that it is narcissism.
Yes, because a lot of people that are having a bad relationship are quick to just mention, I'm dating a narcissist.
Exactly.
This person is in fact, people use it as a, something to quarrel about and just, give it to the other person that you are a narcissist.
Exactly. So you want to be careful. That's the first thing we even want you to understand before we go into the traits. And let me quickly say this in advance. Some of the traits we will mention will show up in a person who is not a narcissist. Do you understand what we're saying? So 2 key things, 2 key concepts we'll quickly talk about so that we get into it. Now, narcissism is a personality disorder. And most experts agree that you need to see a professional to actually come to the prognosis or diagnosis that this is narcissism. That's the first thing. But there's something that looks like narcissism in a lot of respects, immaturity. You see, the key difference between an immature person and a narcissist is that the immature person is not dealing with a personality disorder. They are dealing with, as the word implies, immaturity. And what's that? You see, you are dealing with somebody who needs to learn, somebody who needs to grow, somebody who needs to improve. So it's not a personality disorder. But you see, a narcissist is dealing with a personality disorder, that they are shaped this way, all right, or conditioned this way. Now, most experts also agree that it's not a thing people are born with, it's a learned behavior. Do you get what I mean? So, you see, and this will take you to the subject of parenting and the environment people grow up in, the trauma they are dealing with, and all of that. Okay, so you want to be careful, and that's why we teach. Do not forget that this is a spiritual channel, and we teach from the Bible perspective. Do not forget that this is why we also teach that there are two key things you must engage when you want to choose. Number one, observation, which is what the eyes can see. Number two, discernment, which is what the spirit can see. So let's put it out there, first of all, that do not be hasty to take any of these traits as, they gave me tip. Once this is the case, that is it. No, you want to be careful. And I am not saying you must drag the person to a professional to say, diagnose this person for me. Is this narcissism? No. That's why we have to put the knowledge out here so that you know what you should look out for. All right? But don't go around and judging people. That's a narcissist. That's not a narcissist. No. Leave that for professionals. Why are we doing this again? We are doing this because we want to equip you with the capacity to know, to make the right choice for yourself. Yes. To be in a safe, godly, forward-thinking, future-ensuring relationship. That's why we're saying this. So we're not also saying this so that I go around judging people. All right, let's get into a few things again. So let's also even read this point directly as it is. So while narcissism is a personality disorder that requires professional diagnosis, you can observe traits and make a personal decision that the relationship is 1, unsafe, 2, unhealthy, 3, deserving of being ended. That is why we're speaking to you that you are single. All right? If these 3 key things show up, number 1 is unsafe, number 2 is unhealthy, number 3, it is deserving of being ended. If these 3 things are the conclusions you should come to, then you have to come to the conclusion. Because guess what? The person you choose is the experience you select.
Yes, and as a single, you must choose rightly to have the right relationship, because some people feel I can manage this. We're sharing this knowledge out here so that you know what you are heading into, so that you don't see it as a manageable situation and suffer in marriage. See clearly, understand what it is, and choose rightly. Particularly that we teach from 1 Corinthians chapter 13 from verse 4 to 7 that love suffers long. Love endures all things. See, the choice you make is actually your choice of what you can endure. And we are saying that as we get into the breakdown, narcissism is a personality disorder that should not be factored within the things you want to manage and endure. The person needs healing, not a spouse. The person needs, a professional to help them, all right, not a spouse. Okay, so now again, one more note. You notice we are giving a lot of points to note because we want you to get this in perspective. So the foundation of every relationship should be love that translates to safety. Number 1. All right, mutual empathy, the capacity, all right, to feel the other person's emotion, confidence, and an environment that enables you to be all that God has made you to be. If this is not the foundation of the relationship, there is already problems. All right? So very important. But I'm going to pause here to make a reference to someone who has done a lot of teaching on the subject. Now, on this channel, we do not pretend to know it all. We do not pretend to be all of the source. In fact, this person's material was very critical to our, reducing this conversation the way we have done. All right, Jimmy on relationships has done a lot of work on narcissism and all of that, and we have got quite some resource from him. We must reference that with integrity. All right, so it's important to know this. Now, the key trait we are going to take today is the love bombing trait. Because you see, the problem very often, let me lay foundation, then we'll get into the points we have to make. Love bombing. Narcissists are masters of making sure the relationship starts at a point where you cannot even, it's too good to be true. When things are always too good to be true, they probably are.
Exactly. They probably are not true.
Yeah.
Do you get? So, you see, a person with a personality disorder does not come to you showing you, I have a disorder. Let me say this in advance. A narcissist is always on a quest and a search for a victim. Why? The disorder requires somebody to suffer for it to be fueled. So, you see, part of what they do impulsively, not necessarily because, it's you they selected to be wicked, impulsively. It's just like, you see, a person addicted to crack needs crack to be okay. A narcissist needs somebody, all right, that fuels their sense of importance, that fuels the disorder. So let's get into it. Number one, first thing you will notice is that they shower you with excessive attention, affection, and flattery at the beginning. So they create this whirlwind romantic sense in you. But guess what? Everything will be fast-paced. Pam, pam, pam. Like they're just loving, they're just everything, it's intense. What's going on here? Let me tell you. Chances are that until you spend time with a person, whatever they do at the commencement of a relationship is just acting. That's why we teach that rush can crush. So one of the things that happen is that a narcissist can actually love bomb. Ooh. And you see, part of the way a narcissist picks a victim, as it were, is you pick this person who is actually waiting to be loved.
Yeah.
So your guards are down. Yeah, go ahead.
You know, there's a science to the selection for them.
Exactly.
It will be somebody that is like selfless, somebody that perhaps had been to a traumatic childhood, had parents that were, perhaps narcissistic too, but the thing is, they need somebody that they can manipulate, that they can, dominate over.
And what makes you fit into the profile? The moment they release some attention and affection, and they see that you need attention and affection to thrive, they have gotten one. So they will pump it initially. They will give it. See, and one of the things they'll quickly get from you is vulnerability. You find yourself opening up. You see, the narcissist wants you to depend on him. You see, the sense of what for a narcissist is the capacity for somebody else to be dependent on them. So before you know it, you are actually in toxic dependence, but you don't know.
Yes.
Because this person at this beginning is ready to listen to anything you say, listen to you, speak to you, get your vulnerability.
And that's the quickest way to get you to let down your guards and let them in.
Exactly.
On who you are, your personality, your secrets. And they are just gathering weapons to weaponize against you, really. Exactly.
And now, why this sounds good, this is not the best place for a relationship to commence.
Yeah.
Because you see, if you actually have a habit of being too trusting so soon, you are very likely to fall into the hands of the wrong people. Because you see, trust should be earned with time when you meet people. Otherwise, the moment somebody realizes that you have just been waiting for anybody to give you attention and affection and you will collapse like a pack of cards, what they'll do, they'll overfeed you on it. And the more they overfeed you on it, you will notice a pattern. The thing that follows next is you find yourself being vulnerable too soon, not on the basis of agreed principles. And let me explain agreed principles. You see, for me to trust you, you have to earn it. How do you earn it? Through conversation. The Bible says in Amos 3:3, two cannot work together except they be agreed. Through conversation, mutual respectful boundaries. Not somebody who is, be careful when people have Messiah symptom or syndrome. They just come like, I am the one you've been waiting for. I am all that your life has ever needed. Even from the beginning, if you pay attention, there will be an attitude like this person came with little or no trouble at all, and you came with all they need. That is a problem. It's the kind of imbalance that a narcissist thrives on. So you see, there's a Messiah complex even at the beginning. It may look like this person just cares. No, there's a Messiah complex. Because you realize that, we started talking 2 weeks ago. Every problem appears to be my problem. They don't have one problem on the table at all. Like I am useless to them in the sense of doing anything for them. I'm only useful to them because they are doing everything for me. So there's this love bombing. Oh God, you feel so like you feel heaven and earth. You feel like finally I have landed it. Then guess what? Your guards are down. You are sharing every vulnerable information. The next quick sign you will see, the narcissist begins to isolate you from every other relationship.
Yeah.
Because they cannot strike you well until they have isolated you to themselves. So they need you to be quite isolated to get you at the point. Because guess what? Where are we headed? They need a victim that will literally fuel their disorder. So the condition must be gradually and carefully curated to have the person in a place where the person is quite helpless. Because until you are helpless, the disorder is not helped. Do you get? So the next thing you see very quickly is that you see a great deal of isolation. This is where gradually they'll begin to question the relationships in your life. You know, they are giving you all their attention. They are questioning, you know, why even having to go out? Why are you so close to this person? What are they even doing for you that I'm not doing? Like,
and they start, you know, putting out some kind of jealousy syndrome.
Exactly.
Intense jealousy over the people that surround you, and the target is just to get them eliminated so that you are vulnerable and you are alone.
What are they doing for you that I'm not doing for you? What is that one? In fact, sometimes they go as far as gaslighting. Like, I don't trust that person. See, anybody that comes around your life who does not want to relate to the meaningful relationships in your life, but wants to end, isolate, or destroy them, is a dangerous person.
Yeah.
That's the honest truth. And a lot of people are falling for this.
Yeah, because they know that sound counsel can come from these sources.
Exactly.
So they want to shut those voices out of your life so that they are the only voice that you submit to. Really.
Exactly. And you see the next thing that happens, and this one, this is where singles should run. But guess what? Unfortunately, most people at this point are still living on the memory of the initial affection. What begins to happen? You realize that this person is not consistent. Gradually, a person that used to be all caring, all loving, is now gaslighting, is now making everything your fault. Like, but
showing dramatic outbursts of anger,
exactly,
rage.
exactly.
Their emotions are not stable. They react sometimes violently or overreact over things that should not really matter.
What they used to care for you about, like you sulk too much. Excuse me, this was a person who told you, tell me anything. Like, why you're always full of negativity. Imagine a person you told about your past who was encouraging you in the past. Now say, I can see why your life has never been stable. Jesus, what's going on? The person is using everything you ever trusted them with as an arsenal against you. And you can't see it. So at this point, you realize that the person has become inconsistent compared to the standard of just a few weeks or a few months ago. Inconsistency I got in essence, I was acting, now I am me. You need to see through it. See, if a person comes into your life genuinely loving, caring, they will be consistently loving and caring. Then gradually you realize that the core principle of empathy is out. Empathy just disappears. Yeah, go ahead.
You know, they see you as the cause.
Exactly.
And then they begin to make you second guess yourself. You find out that you are losing your confidence. You came into the relationship perhaps as a fairly confident person, but you are losing your confidence. You are second guessing yourself. You are thinking if you are even in your right mind because of how far they push you and make you feel like what you are saying is invalid.
And guess what? All the relationships in your past or problems you had in your past where you were confident you were not the problem, the narcissist begins to make you feel like, not just now, that you have been the problem all your life. And guess what? By this time, don't forget the person has the materials to deal with you. You have already opened up about your past, your pain, your trauma. The person begins to put you in this place where you actually do not feel worthy of anything. And that everything that has happened in your life until this time was because you didn't do something right, or you were making so and so and so and so and mistakes. So it's extremely important to understand that at this point, you see, let me even read this as it is. If they need to move the goalpost, change standards when it serves their interest, they do. They can never be wrong, and even if they are, it's your fault. So at this point, you are realizing this guy has never, or lady has never done anything wrong. This person has never been at fault. All the problem in this relationship belongs to who? Me. At this point, you are seeing one of the core number one signs. Very major. You see, they love bombed you, and all of a sudden, the goalposts are shifted. The standards are shifted. The empathy at the beginning gone. The attention is becoming toxic. The affection is completely out. This person is gaslighting. This person is turning on you. All right? So it's very important. And let me read this, closing on this first point and this first video in this series. I'm going to read this as it is, then we'll talk about it. Solution at this point. Trust must be slowly earned through consistency. Rush can crush. Trust through conversations, proven by actions. Don't rush. When you're dating, when you're cutting, take it slowly. Talk about your boundaries. Talk about their responsibility if you accept them. Talk about your responsibility. Look, nobody is useless in a relationship. Both of us are coming in to take responsibility. Both of us are coming in to have responsibility. Both of us are coming in to have privileges. All right? So through conversations proven by action, that you both are human enough, imperfect enough, have decent and healthy boundaries, and can both have a life in the life you are trying to have. If I cannot see that we can both have a life, you see, and that's why we suggest, I take God beg you, if you are not Nigerian, you don't understand pidgin, I meant, I am begging you in the name of God Almighty. I do not agree that people should meet themselves. Yeah, there may be exceptional stories, and in 3 months they are talking marriage. In the sense of getting married in earnest. Yeah, they can talk about marriage in the sense of ultimately that's the goal. But you see, rush is terrible. Take the opportunity to know people. Appreciate who they are. So that even if God is yelling down from heaven, marry, 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 you can tell God, I don't know this person. Can you give me small opportunity? You know, Jesus picked his disciples as he was led by the Spirit. But guess what? He spent 3 years plus with them. What was he doing with them? You know, coaching them, helping them, because he was not going to release them to be his apostles just like that. Even if God gives you a person, you need to understand who the person is.
Yeah, and it's only time and circumstances that unravels people. So give yourself enough time to see who they are in the circumstances of that life presents and how they manage it, to know indeed if they are just pretending or they are for real who they say they are.
Exactly. And to conclude on this very first point, what are we saying? Do not rush. Give yourself the opportunity to make the time of pretense expire. You can give people such a long rope that all the pretense will fizzle away. And let me not even go there, because other points will deal with it. You want to check in the time you're talking to them how they talk about, treat, and handle every other person besides you. Because one of the things I forgot to mention is in the process of love bombing, if you look closely at how they handle every other person, you will see that the kind of love they're showering on you, they don't shower on no one. And they are not that kind.
You would even see they don't have long-lasting relationships.
At all, at all. All their relationships are very recent, or they are close to nobody. So it's extremely important. Now, the Holy Spirit will guide your mind on these things. We are not giving you a template that if you just click on it, you understand everything you need to do. We're just guiding you so that as you watch and pray, that's what the Bible says, you watch and pray. So shine your eyes, pray, which is observation and discernment. You would come to some great thought. So in the next episode, we are sharing 2 key points. We said we are sharing 7 of them. We're sharing 2 more points in the next episode on this conversation. Until we come your way again, God bless you. See you in the next episode.